Hello there, friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm so stoked for this podcast episode because I don't know what's in the air lately, but I've been getting so much more interest from photographers in showing up on YouTube. YouTube's been around since 2006, but lately, photographers are really seeming to understand the power of video. So it's less of a fight to get you little freaks to actually show up there. I'm so passionate about YouTube because it's how my business started. And I have a method for showing up on YouTube for photographers that I've been testing, not just with myself, but with students inside of Hybrid Hub that's getting really, really, really great results. And it's not rocket science and it's literally not hard. So don't wipe away from this episode yet. But if there's one core takeaway that I want you to take away, Jesus Christ, Shayna, from this episode, is to build a library of searchable video content that will help you show up in front of your ideal clients for what it is that you do, photo and video, in the locations that you do it in. I really, truly, wholeheartedly, whole-assedly believe that the gap between where you currently are and where it is that you want to go in your business, that gap is just a bunch of blog posts and YouTube videos that you haven't published yet. If there's one action that I want you to take after listening, it's to literally define your main location and what it is you do, and to figure out how to come up in search for those things. The thing from that you can execute immediately is obviously a blog post, but a YouTube video that you can embed into that blog post with a really searchable title is going to help you rank that much faster. Don't be fooled by how nerdy this topic is. This is going to be a gorgeous, beautiful, sexy, exciting episode of Hybrid Hangout. So let's get right into it. Hybrid Hangout is literally what it sounds like. This is a place to hang out and talk about what it takes to build a photography business, especially if you're even a little bit curious about adding video. I'm Shay, and I'm so stoked that you've come to hang out with me and talk about the stuff I'm already thinking through after a week of running my photo video business. Here you're gonna find conversations about why photographers are booked up and yet still so stressed about money, why being photo only has a financial ceiling, and why adding video is one of the simplest ways to raise your average booking without blowing up your workload. I shoot photo and video at weddings, sometimes solo, sometimes with a team, and I sell high packages because I'm selling photos and simple story-driven video with the equipment I'm already using. Hybrid Hangout is where I talk about how I do that, how I shoot hybrid photo video in a way that doesn't make the day harder, how I edit both mediums quickly without it taking over my life, how I package and price photo and video so it sells without feeling weird, how I market so things compound instead of resetting every month. There will be strategy. There will be rants. There will be very specific systems. There will be side quests about business, money, confidence, burnout, gear, clients, boundaries, and whatever else I'm deep into at the time. This podcast is about building a smarter photography business, one that includes motion and paying you better. If you like photography, you like money, and you like learning in a way that feels more like hanging out than being taught at, you will probably love Hybrid Hangout. So come on, let's hang out. Okay, so you are here to figure out how you can rank in search so that when your ideal clients are searching for you, you come up. And I keep telling you guys over and over and over again that the fastest, easiest, best, most effective way to do that is to have a consistent, strategic YouTube strategy. But you hear YouTube and you're like, oh, that sounds so hard. I don't even know where to begin. YouTube is so scary. So hopefully I can show you today that YouTube does not have to be that big of a deal. Because honestly, with my YouTube videos that I do, is the ones I'm suggesting for you today, they are nothing special, but they get the job done. Basically, what I've been testing this year is I have these highly specific location guides for permitted ceremony spots in a national park. Okay. So if you are trying to rank for a city or a country, a state, or a national park, and that search term feels really, really saturated, this strategy is actually a really beautiful way to get a library of content going for that location that you're targeting. All of that sounded really nerdy, but literally, think about the types of clients who are typing in these niche locations into search. These are clients that are really serious about buying what it is that you sell. So even if it's just 3 or 5 people per year searching that term, wouldn't you want to get in front of those people? Because that's going to convert into thousands of dollars. So with these guides, what I've been doing is I write the blog post that targets this location. So say it's a permitted ceremony spot in a national park. It's how to get married at this location in this national park. Super easy, right? What I have been doing though is to make a YouTube video to go along with each of these blog posts. What this looks like is just a talking head intro. So my face talking to the camera. And these are not long intro videos. It's like 3 to 5 minutes of me saying, hey, like I am a photographer, videographer in this national park. I'm obsessed with this permitted ceremony location. Here's why. And just in my own voice. And then I be sure to tell them what they can expect in the video so they can scrub to the area that answers the questions that they're asking. When I have B-roll or photos from that location, I stick them in the video. And then the majority of the video is just Canva slides in my branding, so my fonts and colors. And the text on the screen is just each header from the blog post I already wrote. From there, I am literally just reading my blog post. So it's 3 to 5 minutes of me actually talking to the camera and then me reading the blog post to Canva slides. It's really not that difficult or fancy. And then what I also did, just to be super helpful, is I put in a screen recording of how to get your permit for that location and another screen recording of how to get a marriage license in the state that I'm in. So from there, once the video is all put together, I'm titling it on YouTube with literally what someone might be searching. So like ceremony location, like guide for having a wedding at this location from this national park wedding photographer and videographer. I then embed that YouTube video into the adjoining blog post. And I've also been having students in Hybrid Hub, my high touch coaching program for photographers and videographers. They're doing the same thing. Now, I already knew that YouTube videos embedded in blog posts do really, really well in search because I'm a videographer by trade. So I have plenty of long form videos that are just highlight films with searchable titles embedded into blog posts on my website. And that has helped me with searchability throughout the entirety of my business. It's what it's been built on. But I wanted to see if I could do this really simple strategy that a lot of photographers are already doing on TikTok with those green screen videos. I just wanted to see if a similar educational type video could be made quickly and could rank quickly. And the answer was yes. Spoiler alert, like a few days ago, all of those blog posts are ranking on page 1 of Google as well. So the thing that shifted in my business, now that I know that this works, these videos are ranking almost immediately. My blogs are getting indexed, they're climbing really quickly. And the students that are implementing this strategy, I've been stalking the hell out of them, and their video content is ranking extremely quickly as well on video search results on Google. So what this whole thing has taught me so far this year is that photographers are massively overcomplicating this when they think of YouTube. We already know that our clients are searching very specific things. If you answer the things that they're searching very efficiently and well, if you answer everything clearly in multiple formats, and you make it super clear to Google and YouTube what your content is, you are going to get traction way faster than you think. This connects directly to what I'm teaching today, which is literally how you can implement this in your own business. Because that gap that we talked about earlier, the gap between where you want to be and where you're going, it isn't created by a lack of talent or a lack of luck. You need to show a willingness to do the work to show up when your clients are searching for you. And video on YouTube is just a really beautiful, easy way to do that. With that said, I paid a guy on Fiverr to make this crazy theme music, so we might as well play it. We're going to get right into the lesson portion of this podcast, and I'll teach you a really, really strong framework for implementing this yourself.
Okay, this is the part of the show where we stop yapping, yapping, and actually learn something. Yapping and actually learn something. This segment is hybrid video business education, which is just a dramatic way of saying I'm teaching photographers how to scale their business with video. Pricing packages shooting hybrid without overcomplicating it, editing without losing your mind, and marketing so people actually book it. No film bro energy, no gatekeeping, no posturing, just the stuff that work. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, let's get right into the YouTube and blog system that I'm hoping that you'll implement. First, obviously, we need to pick the right topic for you. When we talk about keywords, I know that sounds really nerdy and techie and scary, but all I'm saying when I say keywords is what are your clients typing into a search bar, any search bar. The first format for your keywords I'd love for you to try is literally your location and service and your qualifier. So for me, a lot of the time it's Glacier National Park elopement videographer or Glacier National Park elopement photographer. Or a really easy one would be how to elope in Arizona or how to elope in Sedona, Arizona, even better. What you're going to want to do is search whatever it is that you're wanting to rank for on YouTube. And a lot of the times, no results are going to come up because photographers and videographers just aren't taking advantage of the strategy. But even if 1 or 3 or 5 people show up on YouTube when you search your keywords, it's a lot easier to beat 5 people in ranking than to beat the entire world on Instagram and TikTok. So define your primary keyword. If it's that how to elope in Sedona, Arizona, then pick your 2 to 3 secondary keywords people might be searching that relates to that. So that might be permits, best locations, timeline for a Sedona, Arizona wedding, how to get a marriage license in Arizona, stuff like that. Next, you're going to write your blog post, and you might be rolling your eyes at me like, oh yeah, let me just whip out a blog post. But I actually sell an SEO expert, Danielle Johnson's blog templates, and I'm obsessed with them, and I use them in my own business, and they're really, really inexpensive. And with these templates, you can whip out a blog post in an hour tops, honestly. So there will be a link down below to my shop where you can snag those and you can get a fatty discount by using code HYBRID. I highly suggest these templates. And if you already have a blog post that just needs a little help ranking, then use that blog post that you've already created. So step 3, after you've defined what you're trying to rank for, you've written the blog post, now you need to film the YouTube video. And here's where I just want to be super clear. Make it dumb. Honestly, it doesn't need to be this huge production right away. The first time I ever tried the strategy, you can even look it up and laugh at me. It was how to elope in Montana. I was just testing this. I didn't take it that seriously. The video looks like shit. My exposure was way off because I was alone and just threw out my camera. It's so bright. It looks like it was filmed in heaven. And I've gotten so many inquiries because this blog post with the embedded YouTube video ranked really quickly. And it's a really, really strong piece of content that generates leads in my business. So for your A roll, the talking head portion where people can see you talking to the camera, who cares? Make it 30 to 60 seconds. That part doesn't need to be crazy and it doesn't need to take you all day. Say the keyword out loud. So say something like, hey, you're here to learn how to elope in Sedona, Arizona. I'm a photographer and videographer based in Arizona. I know this location like the back of my hand. I can't wait for you to come and I can't wait to capture your wedding. Be presumptuous in the video. Tell the viewer who the video is for. Tell them what they'll learn. And then I think it's a really great idea to show B-roll from the location or your photos or behind the scenes iPhone content from the location, just to show that you are the expert of what you're talking about. Then for the meat of the video, just use Canva slides and read your blog post that you wrote. We don't need to get crazy here. Then some high value things you can do for these videos that don't take that much time is you can insert any screen recordings that would seriously help them. Like a screen record how to get their permit for the location, screen record marriage license steps, anything else that will help them. Being super helpful and adding a ton of value in any of your content, not just for this, it's what's going to separate you from the crowd that's just throwing up AI slop at all times. When you edit, keep it really simple. Just remove filler words, remove silences, and just keep the pace fast so that people don't get bored. But for the most part, it's an informational video. You don't need to go crazy with editing. Now, when you get it onto YouTube, you need to keep your SEO rules in mind. This is really, really important. So for the title, make sure it contains your exact keywords, the exact thing that someone might search in order to find the video. So something like how to elope in Sedona, Arizona from a photographer, videographer, permits, locations, timeline, whatever you want to put in that title, that'll be super searchable. Then for the description, you can rework your blog post in a way that makes sense for a YouTube description, but also link that blog post in the description itself. Make sure you have a strong call to action for people to inquire with you about their wedding or elopement in the location that you're talking about in the video. If you are delivering video and still scrambling for music every time you edit, then you're wasting hours that you don't have. Everything on Artlist is high quality, searchable, and actually usable for client work. There's no weird licensing issues, no digging through random sites hoping something fits. On Artlist, I can find a track fast, drop it into my film. I can grab sound effects that fill gaps and help me with storytelling, and then I just move on. If you are editing video consistently, Artlist is just one of those tools that removes friction. I literally use Artlist for every single video project, and I'm not even kidding. I'm such a hoe for Artlist. My affiliate link is in the description if you want to check it out and try it on a discount. No matter what, if it's any piece of content or a page on your website or any point of the process with a client, you need them to know what you want them to do next from where they are. So for this YouTube video, you want them to contact you. From a page on your website, you want them to fill out the inquiry form. From an email, always tell them what you want them to do next. And then for tags, just put all of the keywords that you might want to rank and search for. As far as the thumbnail goes, you're a photographer. You probably have gorgeous photos from the location, and then just put really clear text on top of the photo for the thumbnail about what the video is about. In step 6, I want you to embed the YouTube video into your actual blog post. In Squarespace, you can just press add video and then link the video and show it. I think it's the same thing. Most websites too, you can put in a little code to embed the actual video in the blog post. Google owns YouTube. The #1 search engine in the world owns the #2 search engine in the world. So I would take this really, really seriously and use Google's own tool in order to become visible. Now in step 7, if you are not on Google Search Console, then I would get that set up immediately, because when you publish a blog post like this, you can go into your Search Console and request that it get indexed right away. Indexing is not the same thing as ranking. A page on your website being indexed by Google just means that it is viewable by Google and has the opportunity to be searchable. Ranking is just how high up on the list you are when people are searching for you. Then from there, you can do the usual things you do for distribution, whether that's Pinterest or sharing to your Instagram stories. I don't super care. After you've done all this work, the next thing you need to do is track your data and diagnose any issues. So check, is my blog indexed? You can check this by searching for it or looking on your Google Search Console. You can see if it's ranking and where it's ranking. By this, I mean maybe the blog post isn't ranking right away because your website hasn't built that authority yet, but maybe the YouTube video itself is ranking in video search results, which also, if you remember that we put your website in the description of the YouTube video, will lead people to your website. So it's just as good in my opinion. Whenever we're diagnosing issues, then we have to think in terms of if this, then that. So if you're not indexed, request it again and add more links, figure out how to prove authority and trust with Google and get indexed. If you're not ranking, mess with the title, add an intro paragraph, add more valuable information, figure out what you can do to be better than what is ranking for that keyword. If you're ranking on pages 3 through 10, keep going. You're really, really close to getting where you want to go. So add more depth, embed more media, whatever. When I say build a library of searchable content, I mean it. Quantity isn't the only goal, obviously, but having more volume of content builds a lot of trust, not just with Google and YouTube, but with your potential clients. Think about what it would take to have a consistent strategy for posting these blogs and YouTube videos in a way where they all work together. I have years and years worth of content at this point pointing to the national parks that I work in. And these smaller niche posts that rank really, really well, they all point to my larger pieces of content that convert really well. So a weekly execution plan might look like a blog post, a YouTube video, making sure it's embedded, requesting that that blog post be indexed, and then doing a quick pass on your old content to see how it's doing. So some non-negotiables when you're working on this YouTube strategy, you need to make sure you're not being too cute with your titles. Like, it's not Jack and Jill's beautiful, gorgeous elopement in the mountains. It's sunny elopement at this location, and then just a few keywords people might be searching for. We're not writing vague intros. We're not posting YouTube videos without getting them embedded in a blog post. And we're not guessing why things aren't working. We're tracking our data and reacting accordingly. This will work because you're telling Google what the content is, you're telling YouTube exactly who it's for, and you're stacking authority in your niche for your location and the service you provide. Now for the next segment, we're getting into listener voice notes.
All right, it's time for listener voice note, which is exactly what it sounds like. You DM me a voice memo, I put it in the podcast, voice memo, podcast, and then I answer it on air like we're gossiping over the phone. Ask me anything: hybrid photo, video, business, pricing, editing, marketing, confidence, selling, literally whatever. What? Ask me anything, whatever. What? If you want to be featured, DM me a voice note. Okay, hit play.
Okay, I love this segment of listener voice notes. I'm such a freak. I asked my Hybrid Hub members in co-working this morning to send me their questions about YouTube because I knew I was recording this episode. So let's find out together what the hell they sent. I'm so excited / scared. This is from beautiful, gorgeous Corey. You can follow her at Elope with Corey. Let's do it.
Hey, Shayna, it's Corey. I absolutely love YouTube. I have been posting there quite often, thanks to a good friend of mine who grew up on YouTube. She's like, Corey, you got to get on YouTube. Anyways, I do post there quite a bit. I am waiting to get some inquiries from there, but so far I'm getting a lot of traction. A lot of people are liking my videos, and I think that's pretty cool. And it's just another avenue for people to see my work. And that way, when they end up on my website and fill out my contact form, they come to me. So I'd love to hear how you're doing on YouTube. I see you out there all the time. I hope this helps, and have a beautiful weekend. Happy full moon. Happy May Day. Happy Beltane. It is halfway from spring to summer.
Okay, I'm obsessed with Corey. I don't know about you, but you need to go follow her immediately. I'm so stoked, first of all, that you are on YouTube. And I know it can be hard when you're not worried about this, but to the royal listener, when you're trying this strategy and it's a high effort strategy where I'm asking you to do a lot of nerdy shit to try to rank. And so it's great you're starting to get engagement, but the goal is obviously always inquiries. To me, YouTube is my number one way that I end up getting inquiries and converting clients, even though it might not be attributed on the inquiry form. So people a lot of the time put Google, even when it was a ranking YouTube video, on video search results that ended up making them inquire or finding my website in the first place. I'm so gung-ho about being searchable over vanity metrics that you can even check either of my YouTube channels and see there are videos on there that have 10 likes, or not 10 likes, but 10 views. To me, as long as that video leads to somebody booking with me, I'm not worried about the view count because those views were quality views from people who want to buy what it is that I'm selling. And I know the same is going to be true for you, especially as you get into booking season. I'm so stoked about this. Okay, this is from Kaylee through her lens. She's amazing. I will link her below so you can follow.
What are we doing for YouTube captions? Is there a difference between YouTube Shorts and YouTube? What do you find is a sweet spot for like a video length? Like if I throw a 15-second clip up versus like a 3-minute clip? I know you have everything. Well, I know you have YouTube linked in your website. Is that how you get traffic? Or people also, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna sound so confusing. Does Google only really show the videos that are linked from YouTube in your website, or does it also show the YouTube videos when people are looking for you, and then you link the YouTube videos to your website? Does that make sense? That's all I have off the top of my head at the moment.
I'm obsessed with Kaylee. Kaylee, it's like, here's a casual 7 questions about YouTube, bitch. Feel free to answer them on your own time. Okay, none of that was confusing at all. And they're all really, really great questions that I'm sure other listeners were thinking as I was talking. So first of all, as far as video length goes, you talked about 15-second videos versus 3-minute plus. Both are great, but they both do different things, right? And the way I think about this is very similar to how I think about Reels versus posts on Instagram. Reels is specifically for cold traffic. It's for bringing people to your world. And they're just like a little microcosm of what it is you do. And that serves its own purpose, right? For lead generation. Whereas a post, it's living on your main grid. And it's just a better example of your overall body of work and part of your portfolio and how you serve people. And it's much more for warm audiences than for cold. On YouTube, if you upload something that is vertical and under 90 seconds, I believe, do fact check me on that one. It will automatically upload as a short. The function of shorts is to draw people to your profile, and I think that's really beautiful. And I think a high quantity of content on a Google-owned platform is also really beneficial because now Google has Gemini, and if Gemini is cataloging all your shit, then it's more likely to recommend you to people as an authority in your space. So I think having a high quantity of short form content on YouTube is beneficial for that reason. Now, long form content, 3 minutes plus, where you're really trying to give value to your audience, to get indexed, to show up in search, that's content that can serve you for the entire lifetime of your business. And I think it's obviously the lifeblood of my business. So I think it's really, really, really important to have, just as important as blog content. As far as captions goes, the description of a YouTube video is basically like a mini blog post that points people to your website. It tells them where to go next. It tells them what's in the video, and hopefully it serves them with all the links and everything that you promise in the actual video. As far as visibility goes, your question about if it helps you rank on YouTube itself or if it helps you rank on your website on Google, the beautiful answer is that it does both. So my students in Hybrid Hub right now who are really implementing this, their blog content has been a little slower to rank than the video itself. So the YouTube video itself is ranking on Google even when their website isn't, which is so exciting because the video in the description feeds people to their websites. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. So overall, really, really beautiful questions. And I just hope that you all will experiment with YouTube. If you want to be featured on the podcast, like those 2 beautiful women just were, then please voice message me at Hybrid Hangout on Instagram and let me know that it's for the podcast, and you will for sure be featured. It can be anything. You can tell me a story, give me a hot take, ask for advice, ask a question. I just want to feel like we're hanging out on this podcast. So please send your voice messages.
Hot take. I had a strong reaction to this. I'm a Cancer. I felt sad or annoyed or frustrated or abnormally excited. I felt strongly. So obviously I have to talk it through. I have feeling. I have feeling. Oh my God, podcast equipment is not expensive enough. Throw me in jail with the men who keep buying microphones, phones, and terrorizing the world with their shitty opinions. Is this really that important? Do we actually need to care this much? Everyone needs less opinions. It's a hot take segment. Let's go, I guess.
My hot take for this episode is that if you aren't showing up for what it is that you do in the location that you do it in, then as far as marketing goes, you are probably prioritizing more fun and easier content on social media over what's actually going to grow your business. You might say that you want to build authority and trust and you want more leads, but you aren't doing the work to earn those things. Right now, you might be avoiding the work of creating the content that's going to help paying clients find you. And that is no way to show that you're serious about your business. I feel like every episode ends with me saying, grow up. Most photographers prioritize social media because that dopamine baby, the instant feedback, it feels like you're doing something, even though a lot of the times on social, you're spinning your wheels. Whereas if you would engage in the strategy, even though it is a lot of work, then it would be much, much, much more beneficial in the long run for the health of your business and for being searchable and getting leads. The gap between where you currently are and where you want to be is probably in those blog posts and YouTube videos you haven't made yet. And I stand on that. Here's your reality check. If you want to show up in search, then you need to create this content that's going to help people find you. Authority comes from volume, which is something I think a lot of educators are afraid to say because they're afraid of scaring people off from the strategy. But personally, I am willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do so that I can get the results that I want. I learned that from one of my business mentors, Jasmine Starr. If your ears perked up and you're like, oh, she stole that from someone, always, baby. I'm always feeling. Authority comes from volume and specificity, not virality. Not one perfect post. I can test that a searchable library of content, a searchable library of video content will beat virality every single time. Clients trust you when they find you on their own. They just do. If you're a photographer who already knows you want to add video, but you keep getting stuck in research mode instead of actually offering it, then listen to this. Because your clients are already asking about video. And every time you don't offer it, you're leaving thousands on the table from work you're already doing. I put together a free video upsell starter kit that shows you exactly how to fix that. No film school, no complicated setup, just 5 clear steps to start adding video using the camera you already have, or simple add-ons like Super 8 or even your iPhone. You'll learn how to pick your entry point, start practicing in a way that builds demand, add video to your pricing right away, and turn it all into real bookings. If you want to make more per wedding without taking on more clients, this is where you start. Grab the free video upsell starter kit now. We do need to talk about trade-offs here because business is a game of trade-offs. There's going to be time that you have to spend to create these blogs and these YouTube videos. And the trade-off might be chasing leads, whereas in the short term, chasing leads might feel more productive. It might feel more productive to be constantly looking for people on social media to engage with. That trade-off might be really hard at first, especially if you're low on funds. I promise it's worth it. Another trade-off is repeating yourself. A lot of photographers feel like they're saying the same thing over and over and over again, and then they stop engaging with building this library of content. But if the trade-off is repeating yourself versus being invisible, I think getting a little bored with yourself or sick of yourself and repeating yourself is worth it. Another trade-off is long-term demand versus short-term validation. Like I said, with a social strategy, which I'm not knocking, I do think social media is important. It might feel like a long time without an actual result at first when you get really, really focused on long-term strategy like blogging and YouTube. You just have to ask yourself if that's a trade-off you're willing to make. The next trade-off is assets that work for you for years versus content that dies within 24 hours. You see where I'm going here. To me, that trade-off is worth it. Now, here's what a lot of photographers keep on doing instead, even if you do buy into what I've been saying in this episode. You could post random content with zero connection to search. You can overthink your titles instead of just using your keywords. You're avoiding boring content that people might be searching just because you have a weird idea of your aesthetic and how you should look online. You stay in that place of feeling confused or stuck about SEO instead of just publishing and then diagnosing and fixing as you go. If you're nodding along to any of that or feeling any shame about anything I just said, let me reiterate what it actually takes to be successful with the strategy. You might say the same thing in 20 different ways across your blog and YouTube. You're going to write a blog even if you feel like someone has already written one that's similar. You're going to film your videos even when it feels repetitive or awkward. You're going to break down things that people are actually searching, like permits, timelines, logistics, and not think so much like an artist. You're going to publish on a schedule and not based on of motivation. Now, who do you have to become in order to be the type of photographer who does this for your business? Here's the identity you need to step into. Stop thinking like a content creator or influencer and chasing attention. Start thinking like a business owner building a search presence. Your new job is to be the answers, the expert when someone is ready to book and confused about where to go next. This is all about visibility at the point of the decision. This isn't about entertainment. Now, some hard truths. If you aren't showing up in search, someone else is getting your client. The photographer who explains all of these concepts clearly to their client is the one who wins, not the most talented photographer. Consistency is going to beat creativity, and you don't need more ideas. You need to publish this work and to give value to your potential clients. Finally, you just need to decide. You just need to decide that if you want these leads, you are going to take this consistent action and figure out how to come up in search. That's going to be your number one thing that you're working on in your business if you want it to grow. Decide if you want people to discover you and come to you, or if you are going to continue to be dependent on social for the rest of your life. And honestly, baby, no matter what it is, you're going to be spending your time or your money. So if you're not willing to engage in either search with long-form content or social, then you're going to be spending the money on ads to get eyes on your website. So I hope this inspires you to define your new standard of how you're going to work on showing up for the people searching for you.
Okay, next segment, shout out. This is where I give people flowers while they're alive. This is where I give people flowers while they're alive. Like, wow, this person is great. Like, wow, this person is great. They're doing something innovative, They're doing something innovative, They're doing something innovative or weird or cool, and I'm obsessed with them. This person is beautiful, we're just perfect. This person is beautiful, we're just perfect. No no's, just flowers. I need everyone to know about them. Okay, shout out time.
I just want to shout out to Brianna of Luna Soul Photography and Megan of Megan Gibson Photography. These are two amazing photographers inside my program Hybrid Hub who are implementing with YouTube. I'm so stoked about their progress so far, and I'm so stoked to see them ranking. They'll keep taking consistent action with their blogs ranking as well. And each week, I'm always so stoked to track their data. I love messy action takers, and they're just crushing it with implementing with YouTube. I'm going to link their Instagrams down below so you can follow them, stalk them, support them. They're crushing it. Okay. I hope this inspires you to get onto YouTube. Don't make it perfect. Just serve the hell out of your clients and show up for what it is that they're searching for and answer any question that they might have. It is that simple. Let me know if this episode was helpful. Say hi, add Hybrid Hangout on Instagram. And please, if you post a YouTube video, please send it to me so I can gas you up and cheer you on. I am obsessed with your success, and I know that if you engage with this strategy, you will start ranking and your people will find you. post this episode on your story and tag me so I can say thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.
Beautiful